Looking for support, advice, and inspiration from moms just like you? Welcome to Mom Talks, where we delve deep into the struggles, messiness, and beauty of real #mom life. Here's your host, fellow mama and health and fitness expert, Sarah Denton.
Welcome to Mom Talks, here with your host, Sarah Denton, joined by another lovely fellow mama friend, Miss Christina Stevens. She joins us today as a beautiful mom of two amazing little children, a boy and a girl, and she has a health and fitness background. So we get to learn so much from her, and I can't wait to hear her story and for her to share her advice. And I just want to go ahead and get right into it. So first off, Christina, thank you so very much for taking the time out to join me this evening.
Hey, Sarah, thanks so much for having me. I'm honored that you asked me to be part of your Mom Talks.
Oh, no, the honor is all mine. So let's go ahead and jump into it. And let's talk about, I always ask my lady friends what they would think their title of their episode would be. That kind of helps direct our conversation a little bit. And it also it's very kind of introspective for the mom to think about that. And so, Christina, we were just talking a moment ago, and you said that you've really felt guided by grace so far on this journey of motherhood. Would you like to talk a little bit more about that?
Yeah, so I thought Guided by Grace was kind of a fitting title for this podcast because as I've gone through my mom journey, I've really felt like I've needed to give myself a lot of grace. As moms, I feel like we set the bar so high and we feel like this needs to be perfect and this needs to be perfect. And so much of it is just a journey and in enjoying the adventure with our kids. And we don't want to show them that everything has to be perfect. And so I really felt like through before I was a mom and then also as a mom especially, that I really need to give myself grace to be who I am and then also for other people in their mom journey as well.
Yes, definitely. Well, you hit the nail on the head for, I think, most moms out there. We're such perfectionists and we're so scared of doing it wrong and then, messing our kids up for life and just messing it up. We're terrified because we love these little creatures so much. And then what if we don't do it right? And you are 100%. I agree so much with you because none of us are going to be perfect. And we strive to do our best, but striving for perfection, that could just drive someone crazy.
Definitely. And I think our social media world, it makes it even harder because you see all this Definitely. Everywhere of how to do this or how to do that or how to, there's so much advice everywhere.
Yeah. Yes. And that's another thing too. You're absolutely correct. Normally on social media, you don't see all the bad, you see all the good. And so then you start to think that all of your other friends, or anybody else, even if you do know them or don't know them, oh, well, their life is great all the time. And, those are just the good memories. And I'm not going to lie, I only post the good stuff because that's the stuff I want to remember.
Right.
But it's not, but there's plenty of grumpy moments and bad moments in there too. So I think that's a beautiful, beautiful description of how you're going through motherhood right now. And so talk about, in order to be a mother, you had to have a mom. So let's talk about your childhood a little bit. Like, how would you describe your childhood? Did you feel like it was fairly normal? Was there anything abnormal? Did you move around a lot? Tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah, so I grew up in a super supportive, very loving family. I've got one brother and my mom and dad are still together, which I feel like is unique nowadays. And I just felt really blessed by my family structure that I had. We did move a lot. Growing up, I think we lived in 6 or 7 different states before I went to college. And we traveled a lot because of my dad's job. He's in sales. And so it forced our family to become very close within ourselves because, we moved and then we'd meet a new group of people. And so I got really close to my brother that way as well because we had to. He's the only one I knew on the playground at the new school that we would go to. So
is he older or younger?
2 years older. Yep.
Okay. Protector.
So, sort of, yeah. And then I grew up playing, I grew up playing competitive national tennis. So that was kind of unique. And I got the
Yeah.
opportunity to travel with my mom a lot. So she would take me to the tournaments on the weekend. And so I'm kind of her little clone. I'm a lot like my mom. And I think that's mostly a good thing. But we got to spend a lot of time together. So I got that strong relationship with my mom. And she was a great mentor to me and still continues to be to this day.
That's amazing. And I know that it can be hard when you travel so much, especially when you're young and you're trying to develop those, first friendships and relationships. And the fact that you were able to create that, with your parents, with your brother, that is phenomenal. And congratulations to your parents for being together for so long. I'm sure we definitely have a lot to learn from them. And you being a little clone of your mom, I'm sure we have a ton to learn from you. So with your tennis background, what did you do? What did you do? Did you go to college? What was your profession? What was your trade?
I did. I got a full scholarship to play tennis at Ohio State, which is
Wow.
one of the biggest D1 schools. So that was pretty exciting. So at the time, I went to high school in Minnesota and then I went to Ohio State to play tennis there, which was an
Oh, wow.
awesome opportunity and was like built-in sisters and just such a cool opportunity that really has made a positive impact on my life as well, learning how to be a teammate and how to support each other, people support others, and just really work together. So,
Yes, amazing. So, you went to college. What was your major? What did you end up getting a degree in?
so my major was health sciences, health and wellness. I've always had a background in health and wellness. I've always loved being into fitness and nutrition. And then I went into undergrad thinking that I was going to go to school to get my master's to be a physician assistant, which I ended up
Mm-hmm.
doing that. I took a couple years off in between undergrad and PA school just to make sure that's what I wanted to do. And I did. And so I got my master's as a PA. And then that's actually what brought me to Evansville.
Well, congratulations. So that brought you to
Thank you.
Evansville. What brought you to
hmm
your hubby? How did that relationship start?
So we actually did meet at Ohio State. He played volleyball there, and we met through a Christian athlete group at Ohio State. But
Wonderful.
we didn't actually date in college. I told him he was too old. He was a fifth year when I was a freshman. And so we stayed friends, but we never actually dated in college. And then it was after college that when we'd play out in California, he'd come watch me play. And we just kind of reconnected after that. So,
That's so sweet. All the way out in
hmm
California.
yeah, he actually ended up in California for his master's. And so, yeah, and then he moved back to Ohio for me. So it's kind of a long story. We both lived a lot of places.
Well, it sounds like it was meant to be, the fact that you kept running into each other.
Yep.
And after you all moved to Evansville and decided to start a family, did that impact, did that impact your job, or what kind of surrounded that? Because, some moms choose to stay at home, some end up going back to work. The balance can be difficult. And how did you move forward with that?
Yeah, so that's actually been, kind of a struggle that I worked through. So when I got pregnant with our daughter, our oldest, it really was kind of frowned upon where I was working, which was really shocking to me. And so, there was some unfriendliness in the workplace because of that
What?
decision, which is like super sad as a mom, and my first kid, and it was, supposed to be super joyful. And I got a lot of resistance about it.
Oh, I'm
And
so
so
sorry.
I worked full time before I had my daughter, and then thankfully I got to go to part time in between before we had our second one. And then the doctor I worked for retired after I had our second one, and I just decided it was a good time to spend more time with our family, work more on my
Sure.
Arbonne health and wellness business, and just kind of reevaluate where we were at with things. And that, the most important things in my life were my kids at this point, and I wanted to spend more time with them.
Yes, absolutely. And how close in age are your babies?
They are 21 months.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
So the
So
youngest one is
definitely it's
1
a
right now.
perfect time. Yeah. It's a perfect time to
hmm
be at home and cherish those moments.
Yep. It almost feels like a lot more work than my PA job sometimes.
I know, right? Sometimes we
Definitely.
use we use work as an escape sometimes.
Yeah.
Oh, but we love them. We sure do love them.
Yep.
So now with your pregnancies, did you have any, like, were they fairly easy pregnancies? Did you have any complications, any issues before or after or during?
Yeah, they were both pretty routine and healthy, which was really nice. With work, it was a little bit difficult at times, but mostly it went pretty well. I would say I probably had more trouble after, in that nursing didn't quite go as smoothly as I had hoped it would, which I
Okay.
never realized until I was in that situation how hard it could be.
Yes.
And then I talked to a lot of other moms who were like, yeah, it's really kind of difficult.
Uh-huh.
But it was never something I really understood beforehand.
I don't think any mom does, because we think that's just naturally going to happen, and it's naturally
hmm
going to be easy because that's part of just like getting pregnant and how the baby grows in your belly, like we just automatically assume that will be an easy part. But I think for a lot of us,
Right.
I know for me, it was challenging for both of my pregnancies, especially my second one. And I
hmm
feel for moms because it's stressful
hmm Yeah, and I
and you feel
ended up, having to use formula, which was nothing against that if that's what people choose. But my first choice was to
right.
nurse both my kids, but I didn't make it, I didn't produce enough. And so then that's kind of where part of the grace part came in, because it was like I'm doing the best that I can, and that, that's okay. They're still going to be
Yeah.
just fine.
Yes.
And so that's
Yep.
kind of where at the very beginning, that the grace for myself started, where it was like, I need to be okay with this. But sometimes, how we see it happening is not always how it works out.
Yes. And I'm so glad that you shared that. Thank you for sharing that because
Yeah.
moms need to hear that. Again, back
Yeah,
to
of
your
course.
title. I mean, we put so much pressure on ourselves.
hmm
So after having children, did you deal with any postpartum or have any problems with recovery? How did you feel like the balancing act went? I know that you're at home now. That's a big adjustment going from working to being a stay-at-home mom. What are kind of
hmm
the pros and cons to that?
Yeah, so to the first part of your question, like physically, overall, I felt pretty good, but it took longer than I thought it was going to or would like to have taken the weight off after I had the baby. And
Uh-huh.
as when you have babies, kind of things change and may never go
Yes.
back to the way they
They
were.
never go
Um,
back. It's not fair.
so that was kind of like, I'd always been used to being, pretty fit and that competing at a high level. So that was a little bit different, feeling different physically that way. And then once again, like emotionally, I didn't really suffer from any depression, but kind of more so like a comparison with, like, some women, how they recover so much faster than I was, or, they just made it look so much easier.
Yes.
But once again, going back to the grace, it's like I'm healthy, I've got a healthy baby, and it's all okay. So
Right.
just kind of being free to be who I am.
It also sounds like you rely on your faith a lot, and that's amazing.
hmm Yeah, that's always been, and that's something that's been instilled by my parents as well. And then, even gotten stronger through college, which has been awesome, and something that my husband and I share as well. So I feel like that has really helped us have a strong foundation.
Okay.
Just as far as going from a working mom to a stay-at-home mom,
Yes.
um, so it's definitely different struggles and different benefits to both. I love having the flexibility and the time with the kids. I also have a little bit less time to myself because working, that kind of gets built in there. And
Yes.
then almost kind of like the stigma of, I have a master's degree. Should I be using it? Like in
Right.
that traditional sense. I still feel like I apply it to other things, but working in that sense. And so I feel like that's been a little bit of a struggle that I've had. Now I love having my health and wellness business, and I can work more on the preventative side, kind of like my undergrad degree was. But that's just something that I've, kind of been working through.
Yes. And again, I love everything that you're sharing because I agree completely. And that's a huge struggle for moms is before kids, we just have a completely different identity and we have our life planned out and we're naive going into having children, even though our moms tell us, our grandmas tell us, our friends tell us how everything changes. We're like, whatever, they're going to fit in my life kind of like a dog does. I don't mean, I'm not comparing. I'm just saying. We think it's
Yeah.
going to all fit in a pretty little package, and it's not. We have to sacrifice everything that we once not necessarily identified with, but how we thought it was going to go.
Mm-hmm.
Enjoying the show? Become a patron and receive access to exclusive content and additional episodes. Visit Mom Talk's patron page today and help make motherhood matter.
I remember when we were expecting and someone said, "Are you guys ready?" And my husband goes, "I don't think anybody's ever ready to have children, but you just do the best that you can."
Yes, that's all you can do. I am so thankful for the husbands, the spouses, the significant others that understand. But it is when you make that choice to stay at home, and even if you make the choice that you're working, you always feel a little bit guilty about something or like you're not. I know that I personally struggle with feeling like I'm not applying myself in a way that could be more beneficial. Sometimes it's to my
Mm-hmm.
kids, and sometimes it's more towards health and fitness or coaching or, whatever it may
Mm-hmm.
be.
Right, definitely.
So I understand that struggle. But you talked about having your health and wellness business. So let's talk a little bit about that. I want to hear what you're doing with that.
Yeah, so I have a health and wellness business with Arbonne, and what that kind of looks like is I help promote healthy eating and healthy products for the whole family. And so through that, I do nutrition coaching, education, meal plans. I also help teach and train other women to do similar to what I'm doing to help them work towards their goals of saving for their kids' sports or staying home with their kids or whatever their goals may be that way, or health and fitness goals as well. And then I also have kind of on the Instagram side of that to help promote that as well as healthy living. I have an Instagram at Fit Green Mama. And on there, I like to share every Tuesday. I do a Tasty Tuesday recipe. I do Motivation Mondays. I throw in some pictures of working out with my kids and some exercise tips and some different things like that. And so that's a way that I can promote health and wellness. And then also, be doing some work from home as well when it fits into our schedule.
Yes, absolutely. Okay, so did everyone hear that? You can get some tips on Instagram, your Fit Green Mama, and I will put a link to that in our show notes. And also, I'll get a link from Christina about her Arbonne, and that way she can definitely share more about that because we are
Hmm.
anxious to hear all about that. So, how did
Yeah.
you, after having babies, and being in the health and wellness industry anyways and mindset and profession, how did you cope? I know that you talked about a lot of grace and all of that, but what would you
Hmm.
recommend for like other moms, new mamas after they have their babies? What would what would you recommend?
I would totally recommend getting out of the house
Okay.
and finding moms similar to you or family or friends, whether it's taking your kids with you or getting some time by yourself. But I just think it's important to, get out of the space where you are most of the time and kind of make things feel a little bit more normal. Is what helped me, whether it's going for a walk or going to Target or to the park or, something like that. Definitely. And then I kind of touch on this later too, but really like asking for help if you need it from people, I think is really important as well.
Yes, for sure. And what have you needed the most help with as a mom?
I would say probably just making sure that I get enough little breaks from the kids,
Sure.
so that you have time to take a shower by yourself or go for a run. I mean, I've already shared, but fitness is really important to me. And so like running helps keep me sane. And so, if someone can watch the kids for a little bit, my husband's great about that. And, advice on when I'm not sure, kind of what to do. Like this is all brand new, how do you wash your pump parts? How do you, how do you do,
Yeah,
I don't know, all sorts of different things. Um,
sure.
yeah.
And how do you, so just going to pick your brain a little bit, what would you
hmm
recommend? You talk about fitness and exercise. What do you recommend, once a mom has a baby, how she kind of eases back into it?
Yeah, so I mean, definitely waiting the 6 weeks until you're cleared, I think is definitely important. And talk to your doctor if you have any extra restrictions beyond that. But then I think walking is a great way to ease into it. And then definitely doing some like ab and pelvic floor exercises is important to strengthen everything back up. And then slowly getting back into it. Like we don't have to rush right back into it, but, doing some walking to start with, and then maybe just some gentle lunges or squats or something like that, and not try to push yourself too hard right off the bat.
Absolutely. And whenever you are dealing with your clients and helping them get on track with nutrition, what are kind of some of the first steps to help with that?
Yeah, well, definitely for new moms to make sure you drink enough water,
Uh-huh.
especially with nursing, to make sure that, well, you're really thirsty anyways, but to make sure that you're staying hydrated. And then, having some small snacks throughout the day and kind of trying to plan healthy snacks if you can, which I know is can be difficult. But yeah, just trying to set up a plan so that it makes it easier, that you don't just grab the first thing there are, but to get healthy options into the house if possible.
Yes, that's such amazing advice. Thank you. And do you have, so with all of that, you talk about throwing in some healthy snacks in there. Do you have any tips or any, I always call them mom hacks that you would recommend?
So I love to make homemade protein bars. And
Oh,
my kids love them as well. Now you can't give them if they're less than, well, you wouldn't give them if they're less than one anyways, but they have honey in them. But so I make a simple homemade protein bar with the protein powder, honey, oats. Yeah,
that
honey,
sounds
oats, the
yummy.
protein powder, and it's really delicious. And you keep them in the fridge, and you can make them into bars or balls. And my toddler loves them. So that's like a really good on the go snack we love. One of my favorite snacks is a rice cake with the avocado and the everything seasoning from Trader Joe's, which we
Okay.
don't have a Trader Joe's here, but that is like one of my favorite healthy snacks. And it's still like salty and satisfying, I feel like.
Yeah,
um,
you get that
but
crunch.
yeah, the kids will eat them too. So
And that's even better. I love how everything that you've just said, the kids will eat too, because that's important. And that's what's hard because sometimes it's hard whenever you have to plan meals for every single person in the family. And that just gets overwhelming when you're
mhm.
trying to get anything else done.
Yeah, so my daughter's 3, and I've really tried to involve her in making and with the food that I'm making, and thankfully she loves it as well. But
Yeah.
it's fun for her to kind of learn the different things that are going into it and just what we're making, and it makes her more excited about, like, I mean, not everything's healthy, but excited about the healthy options that we're doing, and she gets to help make it. And so she likes making the bars and the different breads we make and different things like that. So that's fun as well. And even if they get kind of as a mom hack thing, but if they have something fun to dip it in, so like my kids love dipping their apples in peanut butter, or
Uh-huh.
um, different their veggie straws in applesauce, or like different things like that, for healthy snacks for kids.
That's a great idea.
It also keeps them entertained while I'm trying to do something else.
Yeah, absolutely. And I love the fact, like a hack in itself, moms, just so that you hear this, and for healthy habits and healthy lifestyle, is to involve your children. That's so important because they are little mirrors. I mean, Christina's already admitted she's a little clone of her mama, which means her mom is absolutely amazing and fantastic. And it sounds like she's doing a great job with her kiddos and getting them involved in the kitchen. And just from knowing her, I know that she gets them involved in some of her workouts as well. And all
hmm
of that is going to help instill those healthy habits that they'll just be normal and that'll just be their
Right.
normal lifestyle.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I love having my kids coming to work out with me, and I like my time, working out alone also, but with the kids. And then, my 3-year-old will take her stroller with her doll in it and then do like
It's so
some of the same
sweet.
exercises she's seen me doing. And she's like, okay, it's time to work out. And she'll start
Yes,
like leading the exercises. So, um, that's kind of touching for me, seeing her doing it at such a young age.
absolutely. Yes, I love it. Lily says everything that's workout, she calls it yoga. So it's always, I have to do yoga. And she starts trying to do push ups or squats. And I'm like, well, close enough. It could be.
That's really funny.
So, as far as, do you have any other pieces of advice for moms out there?
So I was thinking about this a little bit, and if healthy eating is really a goal, and just kind of if you want to get on a more routine schedule, like I love making a schedule at the beginning of the week. And then obviously there's going to be a ton of changes to it, but
Yes,
like really trying to like plan ahead and make my like meal list for the week so that I
yes.
only have to shop once. So I don't have to fight with the kids more than once to go grocery
Uh-huh.
shopping. But then, kind of let that flow, like just make it kind of an outline and then kind of go with it as things go. Cause, things always change. But that has really helped me kind of feel like I have a little more sense of what's going on and then having those healthy choices around by making a plan for it.
Yes,
So I think that's something
100%.
that helps us.
Now, do you
And then
have
on
like
that
a meal
same,
prep day?
some sort of Sunday, but sometimes we travel. So sometimes it's more Monday. Yes, Sundays typically. Yeah.
Okay. And whenever you do like your meal preps, what do you like? Do you prep for the entire week as far as all of your meals? I know you're busy some of the weeks, or is it more just the snacks, like the fruits and veggies? How do you meal prep?
I'll usually more so like make like a meal on Sunday that we can eat for a couple days and then have it like planned out. I like to keep all the like fruits and veggies fresh, so I don't usually chop them up till the day of unless I'm like
Okay.
throwing it into, a chili or something else because I just like them fresh. But
Yes.
more so just doing all the grocery shopping and having a plan of what I'm gonna need what day and making sure that I do have some like little healthy snacks for the kids. I mean, they get unhealthy snacks too, don't get me wrong,
Sure.
but
Well, of course they're kids.
it's not always healthy, but yeah.
Okay. Well, that's amazing. And, and I completely agree as far as having kind of an outline of your schedule. That's actually that's an amazing habit and a way to make sure that you are more productive because by making that
Mhm.
outline, and it just has all of your appointments that you know are for sure going to happen, and then maybe some goals that you want to accomplish, like your most important goals. So that way, if you start doing
Mhm.
other tasks and kind of getting off track, it just brings you back in line. It is proven to make you more productive.
I agree. And I don't know about you, but sometimes nap time for me is like, I'm so excited that I have a few minutes to get things done. And then I have like in my mind, like 100 things to do. And I kind of get like paralysis, like, okay, where do I start?
Yes,
So I've kind of started like the night before or whatever, like, okay, I'm going to get these 3 things done during nap time. And
yes,
then whatever else is a bonus so that it kind of takes like pressure off me to get so much done, if that makes
yes.
sense. Like,
Well, and you've met your goal, and because we're moms and we multitask and we have not just our own lives and schedules, but everyone else in our family, in our immediate family, we basically manage their schedules too, most of us. Then
mhm.
having those tasks, I get overwhelmed too. And I will absolutely do the same thing. It feels like I'm so overwhelmed. It's easier just to like run away, just to put my head down.
Or take a nap. Yeah.
Yes, I'll tell you, it makes me tired just thinking about it. And that way you feel like you've accomplished something, which is important for mamas too, because,
Right.
especially if we went from a working environment where we had goals like and tasks and complete it and we knew that we did a good job. And
Mhm.
this way we have those tasks, we complete it, and we know we did a good job.
Yes, exactly. And like you said, I mean, I think it's so important as moms to still feel like we have our own identity as well because we devote so much of our lives to our children and especially staying at home. But, it's just really important to kind of focus on what's important for us too. And that's okay to do. We don't need to feel guilty about it.
You're absolutely right. So now I thank you so very much for taking the
Yes.
time to have a conversation with me.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. There's so many little gems in everything that Christina has shared. And if you're interested in learning more about what she does and her Arbonne business, and also check out Instagram, the Fit Green Mama, especially now that we know about the protein bars and making the little protein balls. We can go on her Instagram and we can find all those recipes. So we definitely need to do
Yes.
that. Christina, do you have any last final thoughts?
Well, I actually just realized tomorrow is the launch day. I'm actually an affiliate for Workspacery, and it's a friend of mine, another mama who you'll have to talk to at some point on here. But she has a business where she designs planners, and tomorrow she's launching her line of planners for 2020. And
Oh,
so
wow.
I will be posting that on my Instagram as well. I know we've talked about planning.
Yes.
So I'll just
Hey,
throw
that was a perfect segue.
throw that in there as well. Because that's something else I'm helping her promote hers as well. But she's a local mama, so
Yes, we love our local moms. We love our moms everywhere.
yes.
Moms supporting moms, definitely important.
Yeah, and it's awesome that you're doing this, Sarah, to help kind of share stories and inspiration and positivity with other moms. So I think that's really cool.
Well, I appreciate it. And really it's from meeting moms like you and meeting Evansville. I worked so much when I had my son, and I still met moms and I still had mom friends and I still had different struggles because I was working so much and felt guilty that way. But after having my daughter, I was able to branch out and stay home and meet more moms and talk to moms and just see how incredible everyone is. And at the same time, everyone still seems to struggle with the same feelings and emotions, but at the same time talk about feeling so alone. By you being willing to share your insight and things that made you feel overwhelmed and that you needed to ask for help at times, that will, encourage other moms to be like, I'm not alone. This is normal. I'm not an outcast. And, oh, she is just like me. So maybe I'm going to go and say hello next time.
Right. Yep.
Christina, thank you so very much. You are amazing.
All right.
I'm definitely going to
Thank you.
that Instagram. And if you guys have any questions, anyone has any questions, feel free to post them. You can send them to me, Sarah at momtalkspodcast.com, or post them on YouTube or on Facebook, whichever you prefer, and I can get them to Christina. And also, if you are not a patron and would like to become one, that just helps support the podcast and everything that we do here. You can become a patron for as little as $3 a month. That is at patreon.com. And I will put a link in our show notes for that. Thank you so very much again, Christina. And I look forward to hearing more from you and probably seeing you soon.
All right. Sounds great. Thanks, Sarah.
Thank you.
Thank you for listening to Mom Talks. Your support is invaluable, so please subscribe, rate, and leave a review. For even more extras and bonus content, be sure to visit Mom Talks' patron page.